Hello friends and welcome back to Total War Rome 2. HeirofCarthage here, and yes, I've got another good one for you here. This is going to be yet another sub-commanders battle. This is my favorite type of battle going on in Rome 2 these days. And this one will not disappoint. I promise you we got a good one coming your way. So on the home team today we are going to have, I believe the Roxolani. If I get them wrong, we'll take a look at it here in a minute. But we got the Roxolani, Nabatea, and the Aravaci. So an interesting combination. Aravaci are taking the cavalry role. They've got a noble cav commander, several Celtiberian cav, which I always find myself accidentally saying when looking at Cantabrian cav, which are also present. The Celtiberian cav, there's 4 of them, and they are a medium melee cav similar to like a Carthaginian or Scutari cavalry. And then the Cantabrian cavalry are a high damage, low melee type of horse skirmisher. And then for the Roxolani, we're going to have Steppe Spearmen. At least I think it's Roxolani. So yeah, there's Steppe Spearmen up front, which is just a very cheap baseline spear unit that's being used as fodder. There's Steppe Archers behind that, 3 of those. And then we have some Sarmatian Spear Warriors. These are combination archer spear units. They have a limited number of arrows and limited range, but they are a hybrid unit. And then we have a couple of Sarmatian Marksmen. And you can see the Intimidate ability coming in immediately. Now, it's interesting, I actually want to cover this kind of quick exchange of fire here and show you what's going on. It appears both teams are focusing their missile fire on key targets. The Steppe Archers move up and start targeting Galatian swords. They are looking to basically catastrophically hurt the enemy infantry line in such a way that they cannot win the battle. You'll see this from time to time where sides will ignore the other's missiles with their own missiles and look for more valuable targets. There are 3 Pergamene slingers and then a couple of mercenary Rhodian slingers on the other side, so some pretty significant skirmishing capability on both sides. Slingers will do their damage more slowly. They do have a shield, and they will do more armor-piercing damage. And then Rhodian slingers will do a tremendous amount of damage with a pretty fair amount of AP on top of it, with 8 AP. So Rhodian slingers, very dangerous if given the opportunity to survive the length of the battle. Now, as far as melee on the other side, we have some Desert Levy leading the way in front of some Nabatean Axe Warriors. I believe there's 3 of those. Then we have 2 Noble Swords and a Rekem Palace Guard, and another Nabatean Swordsman behind them. So that is the home team, and then over here for the away team, I mentioned the Slingers. There's a couple of Militia Hoplites guarding them up front. There's some Egyptian infantry and Thurios and Levi Thurios spears. Kind of spread all through, actually just Thurios spears, spread throughout the battle. The main line for the Egyptians is going to be 3 Galatian swords, a Royal Thorax sword, and a Sobek cultist. And then we do have some Steppe Noble Lancers present here on the other side. I believe this is the Masegete. And then we've got the Saka Cataphract Horse Archer General. And then 3 Steppe Horse Archers, 2 on one side, 1 on the other. So again, should be interesting. I like the positioning of these Sarmatian Spear Warriors. They're actually out on the flank, giving them a really good opportunity to do some missile damage, but also provide a little bit of a shield screen on those flanks. So after trading some initial volleys and hurting some of the Galatian swordsmen here in the middle, there was also some shots fired into that Saka Cataphract. The Steppe Archers are going to pull back because they are under an absolute hail of missile fire now from the Pergamene Slingers. So again, it was an interesting trade. You can see some dead archers and other units on the ground there. And then same thing on the other side, a few dead soldiers on the ground. So a furious early exchange. But look at this, some of the Egyptian units decide to pursue, and they go ahead and push forward. So you're going to have a Thurio Spear here engaged by the Sarmatian Spear Warriors. Neither one of these units, I don't believe, have used all their missiles, so not ideal for either one to end up in combat, but they do have to block each other, and so kind of is what it is there. Egyptian infantry charging along the front, so it looks like there's going to begin to be an exchange of the lesser class of melee units here, while there continues to be an exchange on the flanks. The Cantabrian cav over here gets the better of those Steppe Horse Archers, at least for the moment. Yeah, looks like in total. And then the Celtiberian cav does a quick rear charge here on the Thurio Spear, trying to dislodge it from those Sarmatian Spear Warriors. And then I believe this other unit will probably come in for a charge here because there's another Galatian swordsman committing here, and that's going to be followed up by an axe warrior. However, there are some extremely good cavalry units nearby to help fill in, so we're seeing the melee kind of join, and that is moving from right to left along the home team side. So we will see those units committed into combat and then supported by cavalry. So like look here, Celtiberian cav hits the Galatians in the back, Sack of Cataphract crushes the Celtiberian Cav. Another Celtiberian Cav rolls in, both of these with Frenzied Charge. There's a lot of armor on those Cataphracts, so the Celtiberian Cav will struggle to get a whole lot of damage. Same thing when you throw in these Steppe Noble Lancers. A little less armor on the Noble Lancers, but they're going to hit hard on the charge. You can see there is an effect on the infantry, so the Celtiberian Cavalry able to help out. And then because those Horse Archers are gone, we can now get some pressure here from the Cantabrian Cav. Holy crap, I just get those confused constantly. They wheel up really close, though, and they end up within striking distance of these heavy cavalry and will be summarily destroyed and driven from the battlefield, at least mostly. Their Celtiberian brothers, and I actually got the name right for once, come back to try and hold those Lancers, but the damage is pretty well done. Across the line, Nabatean Axe Warriors will do pretty well against most things here. They'll also do decent at tearing away some of the armored cavalry's hit points. We can see here a Celtiberian Cav swinging in on the other flank, hoping to get to these mercenary Rhodian slingers, but being intercepted by a Noble Lancer. And the Noble Lancer will put some pretty tremendous damage on this cavalry on the charge. Though the frenzied charge of the Celtiberian cavalry is also pretty strong, and they do have anti-large, which is going to be a difference there. Smaller anti-large there for the Steppe Lancers. So again, it's more of a shock cavalry versus a melee cavalry type situation. Obviously, prolonged melee would favor the melee cavalry, but the charge will favor the shock cavalry. And you can see here the Cantabrian Cav from the other flank now pressuring. Basically, the home team realizes that these skirmishers are a huge problem, especially the mercenary Rhodians, and here's a desperate attempt to knock them out. And you can see that the melee infantry exchange is going to end up being pretty close. I feel like the home team might have a slight edge in melee infantry at the moment, but there's a lot of skirmishers left. That could change. You can see these Sarmatian marksmen actually coming under fire right now by the mercenary Rhodians. The Rhodians have a lot of kills. This one has 70 in climbing. The other Rhodian slinger is right here. It got attacked and it's fallen back. It only has 9 kills so far. So not a ton of damage done on the Rhodians, but look at this. That's an expensive skirmish unit right there that just got absolutely owned by that Rhodian slinger. Just to give you an idea of how quickly and how painful those Rhodian slingers can make life when given the opportunity. So again, a desperate effort here to get rid of the skirmishers and continued pressure from the Aravaci on those skirmishers, which I believe is wholly appropriate here. Over here on this flank, while the enemy wasn't ready, a Steppe Noble Lancer hit that Noble Sword in the back. It was winning a battle against Agema Spears, and now will struggle to win that battle against the Agema Spears. But there is more cavalry, and the Noble Cavalry of the Aravaci is being held meticulously in reserve, obviously for a late game engagement where they feel like it'll be needed to help protect skirmishers. So the home team looks like their skirmishers are being highly valued right now and keeping some protection from them. Noble Horse Archer, Noble Cavalry, that is going to make it hard for the away team to get in there and get those skirmishers. They are also holding some cavalry in reserve to protect their skirmishers, though some of it is operating on the offensive over here. Those Nabatean Axe Warriors desperately chasing that Noble Lancer and trying to fight it off. The Noble Cavalry and Archers are going to be aware of that unit coming down the flank. Again, melee looking okay for the home team here. It's not something they're going to come out of like ridiculously clean. And again, they've still got to deal with these Rhodian slingers, and look what happens. Those Rhodian slingers now have rear shots into these Noble Swords. And Axe Warriors, they're going to absolutely shred those units. This one's up to 115 kills, and that one that had almost no kills has 36. They've still got half of their unit left. A lot of their ammunition will be gone because some of those entities died, but they can still do tremendous damage. Right here, a Nabatean Axe Warrior casually running in front of the Rhodians, and the Rhodians push the delete button. And those Rhodian slingers are a major issue right now for the home team. They do have some skirmishers of their own, some of which still have their ammunition. Includes these Steppe Archers. These are dangerous units in terms of damage. But, again, those Rhodians have a very long reach and very rapid reload and fire. You see here, they're going to start destroying that swordsman who's being pursued here by the Thurio Spear. Up to 50 kills on the one, 139 on the others. Those Rhodians are making a big difference late in this game. The Sack of Cataphract Horse Archer still very much alive and also having a big impact on this battle. It's double chevroned, 190 kills. We're going to see the Noble Cavalry here reach out and touch someone, this time the Slingers, really trying to support those Noble Swordsmen over the Agema Spears. That fight's been going on for a long time. Look here, the red team's infantry pushing in, but they're being met by some missile fire. They're not enjoying that either. The Agema Spears now have their back turned to multiple steppe archers and steppe marksmen. Or sorry, Sarmatian marksmen. It's going to be painful, but look at that. Now the Rhodian Slingers in position, and they are firing on the archers. And they may change their target, though, to that noble horse archer. Yeah, they did. Oh my gosh, yikes. Look at that, the Rhodian Slingers just dropping those units. That charge will connect, though. This is going to be a very dangerous moment for the Rhodian Slingers, though. They did still get a few more kills before the end of that. And the Saka Cataphract Horse Archer is on the way to support. And then there was also the Steppe Horse Archers that came back. So the Rhodians will survive that. 82 kills now on the lower unit, 173 in the upper one. So those Rhodian Slingers are a real problem at the moment. There is a Palace Guard still here. So it's going to need to be careful of those Rhodians. There's a picked peltis still here, too. Look at this. The noble cavalry just collapsing into the enemy. There's an Agema Spear there, though, so that's pretty dangerous. Adaptive Tactics here, which was a new general ability, that was thrown down, and that's going to reduce defense and shield defense in the enemy units. And there's a battle rhythm here on the noble cavalry, which is going to increase its attack. That noble cavalry is going to be cleaning up some kills in here, but that Agema Spear, not the unit they want to get left with. And the Rhodian Slingers are all over this. Look at them pouring armor-piercing fire into that noble cavalry. But the Sarmatian archers here on the other side and steppe archers firing back at the Saka Cataphract Horse Archer, who's now well over 200 kills. You can see here the noble cavalry pursuing it, wanting the engagement against that Cataphract Horse Archer. But I mean, that's still going to be a tough fight, and the Rhodians are busy supporting. Look at this, the Palace Guard. Rakem Calispard is getting wrecked, so it's the Wreck Them Palace Guard at the moment. And the Rhodian Slingers doing their job nicely. Look at this Steppe Archer, though, moving up here to just do anything to silence those Rhodians. This one now over 100 kills. 207 kills on this other Rhodian Slinger. Unbelievable performance out of them. That noble cavalry, though, is now breaking through, and there's really nothing left to protect these Rhodians. And it does look like the home team is going to pull off a very narrow victory here. But these Rhodians darn well turned the game right there. That was some incredible performance by these Rhodian Slingers. It just gives you an idea of what elite skirmishers can do in Rome 2 when given the option. It's not exactly like Warhammer 3, where if you bring in, say, a unit of blunderbuss or like handgun units that have shredding armor piercing, and they can make devastating opening volleys, like 1 or 2 volleys might be devastating. A little different in Rome 2. Yes, 1 or 2 volleys can sometimes devastate, but it's in the late game where you see those elite skirmishers really come out to shine. A lot of entities have low hit points. Man, look at the carnage across the battlefield here, too. Looking good. That is epic. So yeah, late game in Rome 2, the skirmishers are extremely dangerous like that because everybody's running on low hit points. And a unit like those Rhodians can just continue to pump out the damage. So it was the Roxolani here for Sol Invictus, and he had a pretty good performance out of some of his archers. Interesting strategy how they were going after the opposing melee line. You all have seen that in these battles, where that has sometimes worked to great advantage. So understandable that they pick a strategy and execute it together. Towers Titan doing a nice job with the Nabatean infantry here. The Palace Guard, despite getting shredded by the Slingers at the end, had done an excellent job, gotten a lot of kills, some nice kills on a couple of the Axe Warriors. It's always a good place to be with these kind of mid-tier infantry. Some of the Nabatean swordsmen doing well. So interesting turnout there. Ninja Keeper bringing in that Aravachi cavalry. Definitely a good idea to have saved that noble cavalry for the very last. It did come in very clutch there at the end. Triple Chevron, which I'm not sure if all of that was the battlefield. It could have been, though. This is an impressive performance. Alexander here bringing in Egypt. Had a tough time with the melee engagement. Those Royal Thorax swords, I didn't get it on camera, but when they came forward, the steppe archers and Sarmatian marksmen from Sol Invictus just lit them up with archer fire and ended up making them struggle for the rest of that battle. So it was a tough run for Egypt there in the melee department. They got targeted outright by Sol's archers, and it made life very difficult. Hotel Soap here leading Pergameme, though, and holy cow did he rack up some kills for Pergameme. He got 945 kills, which made him almost first place here, just behind Towers Titan. So he had a pick peltist, not get anything spectacular like the last battle, but both these Agema Spears had a respectable performance, and those Rhodians, triple chevron, double chevron, 99 kills with a cheap slinger here, so that is a really spectacular performance out of the skirmish line there by Hotel Soap. And then Mr. Bombastic here. This sack of Cataphract Horse Archer was on fire through most of that battle, got a lot of kills. Some struggles with the Horse Archers early, but good work with those Step Noble Lancers. And I mean, he kept those missiles for Hotel Soap safe for nearly that entire battle, all the way to the very end. So this one was a great battle. Thanks to all involved. We certainly enjoyed it. And I will see you all soon with some more action in Total War Rome 2.